boomers! Hey! Welcome! Hello and welcome to The Hill is Always Greener, a show where four friends have chill discussions about Sonic the Hedgehog to distract themselves from the inevitable passage of time and their own rapidly waning ability to relate to the youth. Hey! Because we're all old. Dave Palmer. I am your Sega-sational guide to the topic we're covering today, Faulerro.
My colors are changing every few panels. I'm RockTheJake.
I'm CyberLink. Yep, state of the art. That's me.
And I'm a magical mushroom man, GameBuddy.
Sorry, what? Anyway, carrying on. Hello, welcome to the podcast. Already did that part, but that's fine. We love reiterating ourselves in this podcast for many times over the course of several hours.
State of the art. That's me.
Yes, well, welcome. It's the Sonic podcast, the one that we always do. You can tell that I was prepared to host this one, can't you? I had a whole thing planned in the last 5 seconds, and I still don't know what it is. But today on the Sonic podcast in 2026, by the way, I think we forgot to acknowledge that last time we did an episode.
Oh my god.
For episode 98, good lord, why have we done this for so long? As we move, episode 98, almost Christmas. No, it's not Christmas. It's been Christmas. But yes, here we are. And once again, we're going back to crib the whole deal of Dave and Chris on Sonic the Comic podcast by talking about the one thing that they talk about. That's right, 90s in the UK and everything that was involved. No, we're actually talking about STC again. It's Sonic the Comic!
Yay!
A podcast where we talk about Sonic the Comic, but not that one.
It's Sonic the Comic, a podcast.
That's right, that's what we're calling it. We've done this a few times at this point, but this time we're focusing on one specific interesting part of STC's wide and varied history. We are talking about the major impact point in Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Comic, Sonic the Hedgehog strip in Sonic the Comic. We are talking about the arrival of the boy in pink and then red and maybe other colours, as Jake alluded to. We're talking about Knuckles and his arrival in the Sonic 3 adaptation of STC. Oh boy, this is fun for me to look back on, for me specifically.
I'm glad too, because I have read this before, and I read it again, and I'm like, man, this beats the doo-doo out of any other comic adaptation of Sonic 3, that's for sure.
How many were there? Actually, no, I think about it. I can just think of Archie.
There's the Archie one that we talked about in Sonic First, and then there's the other Archie one that never got released.
Oh, that's true. And technically speaking, I suppose Sonic Adventures, the French comic, is kind of a Sonic 3 adaptation?
Kind of.
It's about as much a Sonic 3 adaptation as STC's final arc is a Sonic Adventure adaptation.
Yeah.
This is what's fascinating for me, because Sonic 3 is... I mean, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is my favourite game of all time, but Sonic 3 was the first part of it, the one that we all remember hitting us like Knuckles did at the beginning of Sonic 3, I suppose, knocking all the emeralds out of us. All of our jewels went flying as this game hit us. So, and it reflected that in the comic, because I've probably talked about it before. Knuckles is still my favourite boy in all of Sonic, and this adaptation and how he was introduced just helped cement that for me, because... God, it's really interesting. They really get you, right from the offset. You know that Knuckles the Echidna is the coolest motherfucker next to Sonic. And that's the thing. Last episode, I should say, we were talking about how excited I was to watch Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time, because, it's a thing I saw in the comics. And now we're getting back to when I was like, oh boy, it's that guy from the game that I'm probably not going to own for a while, but he looks so cool. It's really hard to describe what it's like to be a child and to be excited about these things, because back then you didn't have the words to describe them, so it's even harder to summon them to remember what it was like to describe that very feeling of, ooh, the cool boy is here, I guess.
I completely concur. I somehow remember that feeling, because I remember having that feeling seeing like commercials, I think specifically for, I think it was when Sat AM went into syndication and started playing on USA's cartoon block. But like, it is hard to summon words as a grown up to capture that feeling as a child. I mean, other than like glorious rapture, like almost a religious, like there is more things featuring my favorite guys. Oh my God.
Oh my God. They brought out another guy who's like the guy I like, but he's a different color and maybe he's evil, but he's just as cool as the guy I like. Holy shit. What? They can do that? That's basically how it felt, because we'd had like other Sonic characters at that point. We had Tails, but Tails was never a cool guy. He's the fun little cute kid character. No, this was another Sonic. And there he is. He's another Sonic, but he's a different animal, and he's got big pointy knuckles, and that makes him cool. I don't know what it was like for you guys when Knuckles first arrived, because I know it didn't happen with the same fanfare if you were reading Archie at the time, because there was an adaptation of Sonic 3, right? I remember that. I read it.
One that we read.
And it's okay, I guess.
I don't think I was collecting the comics then. I was still like picking up maybe issues as I found them at various grocery stores. So I know I missed that adaptation the first time around. So it really was like, no, Sonic 3 and any other like media tied into it, like Lifesavers commercials or whatever, was my introduction to Knuckles. So yeah, when he punches the emeralds out of Sonic, it was a like, you know, speaking of child reactions, it was like, oh wow, I can't wait to see this new guy. And then his first act is punching Sonic, and I'm immediately conflicted because I'm like, oh whoa, oh man, that Sonic's my friend. You can't. Okay, we'll figure this out.
Whoa, this guy's cool. Wait a minute.
I don't know about that.
On. That's Sonic you just punched, man. I don't know. I'm mad enough about Mario right now, and he's another red guy showing up to try and, you know.
Somebody punching Sonic? I don't know about this.
I mean, for real, like, you know, 8-year-old child logic.
I think what it is like, when I look at it, the Archie adaptation of Sonic 3 was just a kind of like... Because Archie was always like... They were more... It was more intended to adapt the cartoons, more or less, even if obviously it went off in a different direction. They were just given like the early production materials for the cartoon. So the whole process was like... The games were kind of secondary. They were mainly trying to promote like the Western universe that they were trying to push. So when they had to do a game adaptation, it was always like, oh, okay, then we'll do that. And then we're going back to our stuff that we're comfortable with, the stuff we've got like actual story bibles for and actually worked out. So instead of this Knuckles
we'll go
guy.
To the floating island, but Knuckles is going to drop down something called the Zoot Chute because fuck you.
Disgusting. It should be the Zoom Tube, apparently.
I agree. The Zoom Tube is cool, and I'm like, what else would you really call those things? Yeah, that's what it is.
The difference is, for Sonic the Comic, the games were like, that's their big source material. Because, yeah, obviously they're pulling loads of stuff from the Sonic Bible and everything they were given. But they're also, it's like, when a game comes out, they were like, okay, here's something new for us to make up, because this is actually the Sonic that was... Because these are supposed to be adaptations of the games first and foremost. So when a new game comes out, they're like, right, we got material for ages now. So that's exactly what happened when Sonic CD hit. They were like, all right, okay, we're going to go ham with this idea. We'll take the bare bones of this and make a really interesting time travel story. Yep. Now they've got Sonic 3. There's another Sonic now, and he's on an island in the sky. All right, then we can do that. It's not like a straight adaptation of the game. It's not a by the zones one, but it's, you know, they've taken this idea and like, right, how do we work this with the Sonic we've got? Well, we'll get to that today.
Mm-hmm. I think, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think Faulerro really likes Sonic the Comic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's helped form my idea of what Sonic was at the time. And this one's about Knuckles, so... You know.
And I just want to make it clear, it's fun to hear your passion about this, because, you know, I obviously didn't grow up reading STC, and the only time I ever read it anymore is just as a newcomer to each episode, because fresh takes are fun for me, so...
You only ever read it unless when we give you the homework to actually check it out. And we have to be like, no, Jake, trust us. Honestly, it's good, really. We have to do that because it's not always an easy sell with Sonic the Comic because of Sonic. I don't know if you've noticed this. Sonic the Hedgehog was a bit of a jerk in those comics. I feel bad because every time we have the guys on who can explain that to you better than I can, you're never there for that.
I know,
so
for real.
Oh no. Well,
It is true.
if I could jump in, I think this is a good story arc because you have multiple characters, including Knuckles himself, literally turn to Sonic and ask, "What is your problem?"
Oh, that was when I read that part. I was just like, okay, finally somebody said it.
So it's like it's yeah, they know. That's the whole point. Is they know Sonic is anyway. We've said it over it every time we go into STC. It's like, yeah, that's the point. Sonic's being a rude little boy that grew up in the 90s, specifically, in Britain. So whatever.
At this point, I have read all of STC. I have the context. I get it. That doesn't necessarily mean I like it anymore. The same way that it's like, yeah, I know why Luke is like that at the start of Tales of the Abyss, but that doesn't mean I want to play that first portion of the game over again. Piece of shit.
Watch yourself.
Stealing my name.
I was about to say, like, I know why Luke is like this, hating my comic. It's not true.
Hey, you put up with me and Sonic Riders. It's only fair I do the same.
Yeah, fair enough. But that's just, like, yeah, I know we've gone over it like a million times. Like, I don't expect people to like it. I just hope people understand where we're coming from when it comes to Sonic. Because, that's British protagonists in comics. They were little assholes a lot of the time. In fact, I feel like Sonic is actually one of the milder ones of those. If you ever look at our version of Dennis the Menace, sawing a table for a laugh, that's sort of it just becomes clear that, yeah, we loved little assholes in our comics. That was just what was entertaining to us.
And the British Dennis the Menace is probably the more wholesome of the two.
Yeah.
Completely un-Sonic related. But yeah, if you want to destroy your soul, go look up the guy who invented the American Dennis the Menace and never stop being glad that he's dead.
Oh my.
Yeah, there's some homework for you, Jake. No, the last thing I'll say is, I am the American who came to Sonic the Comic through Chris and Dave's podcast. I had never read it properly until then, and was listening with the context of not just the, they actually do things with Sonic's attitude, but no, the context of the culture of when it was put out and written. And of course, we're going to say go listen to Sonic the Comic, the podcast, because it's better than this one. No.
Oh, just throwing us under the bus there, huh?
It's definitely how to, I would say, the best way to experience Sonic the Comic. That's what I'll say. But man, at this point, I think I'm more pissed off by revisiting like Sonic Underground, of course, is its own aberration. But even going back to Sad AM compared to Adventures of Sonic, we just went through some more Adventures episodes, but just remembering how different Sonic is written in Sad AM, where he's kind of a dumbass, that kind of pisses me more off now with my adult sensibilities than Sonic the Comic Sonic. And like I said, maybe that's just because I'm intentionally defensive of STC, because I remember growing up on the American internet and all these dumb Yanks just posting out of context panels. But I get it. I totally do. I am just always going to be that defender of people who have not experienced it, present company excluded, who have, of course, who think they're going to be put off because, Sonic's, not giving his friends big hugs. Anyway, I think this is the third or fourth time we've had this exact intro to an STC.
We've got to do this disclaimer every time, apparently. Now, the thing is, Sonic cannot be too much of a jerk, but he should also kill Eggman. That's the important needle thread when it comes to Sonic characterization.
He should never say anything that isn't encouraging. He should kill Eggman. He should marry Amy Rose and have heterosexual babies. The list goes on.
Keep it within the race, as they say.
Ian Flynn should be tarred and feathered and drawn and quartered. Sonic should only speak Japanese. Did I say the wind? I'll say it again if I didn't. The wind.
The wind.
I do think it's funny every time we like bring up STC when we're talking about a series of comics that we're going to be reading for the day. It's like we're introducing our friend Sonic, who's British, who's also kind of problematic, but he has a heart of gold. Like, this is my friend Sonic. He can be kind of a jerk, but I promise he's a good person.
Hey man, he got me through some hard times, and it's like a problematic figure.
Look, I know, but you got to give him a chance. Look, honestly, I've talked to him about this. It's fine. Just give him some space.
He's been working on himself. He's really making an honest effort.
Look, this panel here, he's acknowledging his inner turmoil.
Also, by the way, we're covering specifically the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 adaptation here, because if we covered the whole arc of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it would be here for a while. There's a bit of a gap between them. We only have so much time in an episode, says Faulerro, as he just got done listening to a 3-hour episode that Jeremy just edited.
I mean, we make an effort to keep them relatively contained. It doesn't always work, but we at least try.
We did acknowledge some of the best parts of that in our Death Egg episode. Maybe someday.
And I'm sure we'll get to it eventually.
Yes, we will get to the whole thing.
Eventually, we'll bring out the second half of this, and you can lock them together, and you'll get the full version. It will change the music slightly, move some of the item boxes around, lock-on technology. Anyway, so yeah, basically Sonic 3 adaptation. This is split up into most of this happened in the Sonic the comic proper, in the Sonic the Hedgehog strip, over the course of a bunch of issues. But it begins, actually, not in Sonic the comic itself, but in Sonic the Summer Special from 18th of June 1994. Which I have a physical copy of right here. Not my original physical copy. I never have those anymore. They got thrown away. That's tragic. I'm going to be dealing with that in my own way with my therapist. But basically what we have here is a fun little special that they produced, which I was very excited. Again, taking myself back to the child I was back then. Very excited to see this in the newsstands. I think I picked my copy up from a hospital because we were going through it at a time, and I begged my dad to let me have it, and I kept that for a while. Have this lovely little issue. It's got a lovely Richard Elson cover. There's Sonic jumping at her. I probably should have provided a visual reference for my co-host. I did not. That's fine. It's actually not that great overall. Some of these stories are really bad, and it doesn't have quite the same presentation as STC. It doesn't look quite up to snuff, but it does have, as I showed you earlier, guys, a little profile of Knuckles the Echidna with that art where he doesn't have his little chest thing, but he's got buckles on his gloves, and his glove seems to be merging into his eye there. It's a bit strange, but that was the first image we ever saw of Knuckles the Echidna, so we were like, well, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. And there it is. The first story we're covering today, a 4-page story written and drawn by Nigel Kitching, the brain of Sonic, basically, in Sonic the Comic. Knuckles, Guardian of the Chaos Emeralds. And that's where this is the first time Knuckles actually physically appeared in the comic itself as a character. And it's interesting.
And so I'm just going to say it. His proportions looking a little bit Sonic Underground here.
Oh, no, you're right. He's got a bit of a belly there. I feel
he is a little squat.
That is kind of a Nigel Kitching thing. He did draw them a little bit squat. It was especially noticeable here. He's also a bit purple. He doesn't quite have the pink of the very same image on the left-hand side of the comic here. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I guess this was an idea of what Knuckles looked like. He was a bit he looks like the grapes that he loves to eat, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm chalking it up to just, artist's interpretation of the material they were provided, in the same way that Amy's haircut, or as we're going to get to later, how Knuckles doesn't really have the ring pattern on his chest. It's misinterpreted as like a metallic ring around his neck.
You can see it here as well. It's not as noticeable when Nigel draws it, but it is there. Yeah, he's got a little shiny part, whereas the crescent is. So, of course, naturally, that's what I interpreted it to be as a child. I'm like, yeah, of course it's a little... he's got a cool little necklace. Give him some more clothes so he doesn't look quite as naked. That's fine.
Cover a little bit more of his sin.
Yes. And there's so much to go around.
It's prescient to bring up that, like, anytime somebody tries to point out like a weird, there is a Sonic Christmas tree in these stories. You see him directly from behind. STC was just going on the model sheets they were given from Sega, usually Sega Europe. And I mean, if you look up even American promo art released during or around when Sonic 3 came out, Knuckles was pink. Not to steal a bit from the fellas, but Knuckles was not like deep red until, I think far after Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
The redness was there by the time of Sonic and Knuckles in the games, just because from that title screen where
the title
very
screen
overtly red. So I have to chalk it up as like it might have been a case of where the materials they were sent, he might have been drawn red, but they, whatever printing could have affected that in the same way that people still think today that the Japanese Dreamcast logo is red. It's not.
Yeah. That was something I embarrassingly learned only a few years ago, that it was just printing material.
Do you think Knuckles was red in the Archie adaptation, though? Am I right? Because some of the colours always throw me off in that, because I'm sort of mixed between, like, is this the print colours, or is it the crappy sort of, like, airbrush colours from the reprints?
You never know if you get those digital recolors.
Yeah, like, by the time of first, they had fixed that for that adaptation.
I mean, I think this is all moot anyway, because, I mean, Sonic fans will argue over Sonic being different shades of blue. And I mean, the real this character used to be different is Tails. He is so much more yellow now than he was in any original art, where he was bright, like, orange.
Or if you're watching one of the cartoons or reading one of the early comics, he was brown. So
brown, yes.
That's right. Okay, Luke has provided a useful reference image of the original print of this island hedgehog in the Archie comic. Knuckles is very red, and he's very pointy-headed.
It looks like he's using the same color as Robotnik's. I don't even know what you call his outfit. It's not a jumper.
They are definitely pulling from the Japanese art of Knuckles, I feel like, because of that big pointy head. That cone head. Suffice it to say, Knuckles has shown up. We've danced around it. Knuckles is here in the strip. You see a couple of funny-looking Mobians pointing up at the sky, saying, "Oh, what is that thing up there? It's the floating island! There it is in the distance, with pipes and tunnels and weird shit coming out of it, like it got pulled out of a city in the ground and it pulled the waterworks up with them." That's a bit of a strange choice, but I guess they'll elaborate on that in the actual main strip. Just looks a little funny that he's got like bits of wire and pipe poking out of the floating island, which it was called at the time. We didn't know.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Archie did it too.
Yeah.
Yep. But I gotta say, this prologue is short, sweet, and aside from those character design elements and the name Mobius, this is about as from the games as it gets.
It reminds me a little bit of what we got in Sonic Origins.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, the Sonic 3 cutscene where the Robotnik crashes into Hidden Palace there. But there is Robotnik in the Death Egg, crashed into the island like a meteor, and Knuckles looks really cool. And sorry, I'm just looking at the cover of this again. I want you to understand that what it says on the front here is mega cool new adventures starring Sonic, Tails, Robotnik, and, believe it or not, Knuckles. Like, I want you to understand, this was they really hyped this shit up. They wanted us to know he's the coolest guy ever, and you're going to get him, see him here first.
Cover really be like, look at this shit. Can you believe this? Unthinkable.
Unthinkable that we'd have another Sonic character.
Does this little robot pop out of Robotnik's, down ship just so they can kind of allude to? I mean, I immediately think of the beginning Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, probably.
And he's in Ice Cap, and it's what is that? I'll have to put it in here. What does the little probe make? It's like,
It looks like a mix between that and the fire breather from Angel Island Act 1.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
To lead him down to... I love this drawing of Robotnik pinned under this.
I know.
Looks like he's about to shit hemorrhoid.
Yeah, Kitching did not color his eyes red, and I think that almost kind of adds to the drawing in a weird way.
I'll never get over just how truly vile Robotnik looks in the STC comics, because he really does look like the most villainous villain in all of them.
Yeah, it's interesting because it is Adventures Robotnik design, but something about it, they add a lot of malice to it. I think he changed the color. He changed the color of his eyes so he wouldn't. Knuckles has watched too much G1 Transformers. He's like, oh wait, red eyes. Oh, that's a baddie. But yes, he's at this point. God, I almost called him Eggman. This is where I'm at right now. To be fair, I've just been watching Sonic X, where once again Knuckles got tricked by Eggman. So of course, but yeah, he's claiming, "Oh, I'm just a benevolent citizen of Mobius," and can't believe that horrible Sonic did this. So I always love the idea of just like straight up lying to him, pretending to be a good guy. Sorry, I am merely a humble inventor. I am here due to an accident.
Knuckles introduces himself as the guardian of the sacred Chaos Emeralds, and he doesn't pick up on the, you have all the floating island Chaos Emeralds? Tell me more. Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, and of course this was during the time where we had no idea what the Master Emerald was. I looked this up and I was like, apparently the Master Emerald was alluded to in the Japanese manual for Sonic 3. Tails picked up the energy reading of like a giant emerald or something. But otherwise, as far as we know, it's the Chaos Emeralds that Knuckles has been guarding all this time. And apparently they are separate from the regular Chaos Emeralds according to STC. Because that's why he said the Floating Islands Chaos Emeralds particularly. And I can understand where that sort of confusion comes from, because when you play Sonic 3, all of Sonic's emeralds get taken out, but then there's Chaos Emeralds inside the giant ring. So what, did Knuckles put them back there, or are they just different emeralds? I don't know, but this is how STC have chosen to interpret it, and well, it certainly formed my idea of how the Chaos Emeralds work in Sonic 3, so whatever.
If I had a nickel for every time that a Sonic comic said that there were more than 7 Chaos Emeralds, you know the rest.
I was about to say, I like the, if you're wanting to be mean, the pull it out of your arse excuse STC comes up with than what Archie did. Absolutely. Because man, I don't remember which version of the manual it was, the English or the Japanese, but I think even the game manuals just kind of don't think about it too hard as far as Sonic, because Sonic's supersonic, that means he has but then the Knuckles, like I said, I think, and it doesn't matter, but I think what STC does with it is pretty smart.
I mean, we'll get to it, but they immediately solve the problem of too many emeralds, which Archie wouldn't catch up with until Ian Flynn took over. So, but yeah, also a little note at the very end here, the little narration box says, now you know how Dr. Robotnik enlisted the help of Knuckles in his war against Sonic, just before the beginning of the Sonic 3 computer game. God, the phrasing computer game takes me back. We used to call them that over here all the time.
Yep.
Don't know if that was a thing for you guys ever at all, but computer games, not video games.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was usually they would do the stupid thing Nintendo does now, where it'd be like the new game for for Sega's Genesis game console system.
I think it's maybe because a lot of our games are on computers. They were, as Dave would say, on the Amiga, which was a little computer. So, I think that's where maybe the terminology came from. But over time, yeah.
I wonder if that is specifically a Nintendo American thing, because they changed the NES so much. Because it was the Famicom was the family home computer, and Nintendo wanted to rebrand it as a quote unquote a toy over here. So I think Americans stopped referring to them as computer systems or processors. No, these are game consoles. These are toys.
Sorry, Luke has provided an actual context here for the Sonic 3 English manuals that says that Sonic 3 takes place on a serious floating island. The source of these powers are the Chaos Emeralds, and I do not see a single mention of that big one. So, yeah, they had to pull from what they had, and to be fair, a lot of the Japanese stuff is as we know, they were not pulling from because that stuff wasn't readily available, wasn't being provided to them from the licensors and Sega themselves. So that's why. And hey, in the manual in Japanese, it was called the Floating Island as well. So we've talked about that before. So sorry, I'm not here to defend ASTC all the way through, but I'm just it's necessary context to know we didn't know.
Perspective.
And if anyone else has got anything to say about those 4 pages, because that's all it is that we get of Knuckles, I think we can move on to the main story itself.
This first one was written and drawn by Nigel Kitching, and Nigel doesn't do a ton. I mean, I think he did more Decap Attack than Sonic, on paper, but I always really liked it because his colors are really great. I mean, this was back when everything was done with pen and ink. But yeah, Knuckles is a little squat, but we were faffing about saying I'll take this over the Mick McMahon Mobians. Even though I do love Mick McMahon in the book, it's that's why you need to read STC, folks, so you understand the subtleties we're talking about. But yeah, it's a cool little intro. I mean, yeah, the summer special was, we know from Archie, we know all about 48-page in your face specials. It was kind of similar to that. And so, yeah, getting to see this new character ahead of the main book. Ooh, man, if you didn't get that special, you were missing out.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly cool. And it has that funny drawing of Robotnik.
And that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. Robotnik looks funny, but in an evil sort of way. Right. I guess we'll get to STC proper now, because we're finally adapting Sonic 3. That was essentially the prologue. So let's get right into it with the actual adaptation of Sonic 3. That was the prologue, and now we're into the game proper, kind of, with Enter Knuckles Part 1 from Sonic the Comic issue 33. Only 33 in, and we were getting the cool stuff. So, and that was cover dated 2nd of September 1994. I'm not sure if we're going to do all these cover dates, but it's nice to know. So this is where it begins, a bit of a cold open, if you will. I only say that because we don't get the title until the second page, which was radical at the time. I can't believe they did this, really building up to it. And it starts off with national sex symbol, Sally Acorn.
I was about to say, that's Sally, right, is the anchor?
Yeah, that is Sally. By this point, she had, dropped the whole freedom fighting thing and is now strictly news reporting.
Yeah, she rarely actually appears in this comic, by the way. We did cover the other major appearance that came to mind, which was where her brother Tufty was rescued by Sonic.
Yeah.
And here she is, April O'Neil, taking up the role of newsreader, thus becoming even more of a sex symbol to kids of my age. No,
she's got those big 90s shoulder pads.
That's true. She just looks normal. Not much to really say about her, but she is here. For those of you who love your Sally Acorn, she's here for this first page, and then she's gone again. But basically to say that the Death Egg 2 has fallen from orbit. And this is specifically an STC thing, because STC kind of accidentally wrote themselves into a corner with an earlier strip back in issue 6, Attack on the Death Egg, when the Death Egg basically ended up falling to the ocean after Sonic redirected it. So they were like, well, we don't have it up there anymore, so I guess we'll make a second one. So that's basically where we're at.
That's what Robotnik says every time the Death Egg gets blown up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he's doing now. So, STC kind of predicted that. Just bring out another Death Egg. It fell and Eggman is dead. God damn it, I keep saying Eggman now. Sorry, because we keep transitioning between the two. Dave and Chris would be disgusted with me.
Kintapor is right there.
Just as a reminder. But he never reached the ground. And why is that? Because something got in the way on the way. And it's probably the floating island. Amy's like, you bunch of saddos. Why would you believe that? That's not real.
It's just a legend, a rumor, a dumb one, in fact. Can I say this is, I think, unfortunately, that Kintober, the pre Rotten Egg explosion Robotnik, becoming a guy trapped in a computer who was in a Mobius ring, but you
can just call him the Zordon.
Yeah, basically.
Unfortunately, I think ends up kind of having wasted potential. they basically eventually, like, you get maybe 50 issues after that, they kind of just start forgetting about him, and he only pops up like when a writer needs him to do something. But then I feel like another concept that works off is the I'm sorry, what's the giant teleporting face computer?
The Omniviewer?
Yes, I feel like they come up with the Omniviewer, and then everything that Kintober ever does could have been an Omniviewer thing. I don't know. I guess just looking back now, having read most of STC, it kind of takes the impact out of my favorite thing about the entire Robotnik Kintober thing, is that Kintober is supposed to be like, well, deep down, he might still be inside Robotnik, whereas no, actually, here he is. He's a computer man. I'm like, it's a little... Anyway.
I don't disagree, and I feel like
an
even bigger wasted opportunity is that they never interact in the actual main story, so...
yeah.
The only time that ever actually happens, as far as I know, is in any significant way, is in a story that Nigel Kitching wrote for STC Online. Much later, Exit Sonic, his own idea of an ending story for the Sonic comic, so... But other than that, they never really have Robotnik come up to Kintober and be like, yes, who I used to be, you disgusting little worm. Because that would have been really good, but no, they never do for whatever reason. He's just kind of there. So now Sonic doesn't even have a reason to turn Robotnik back.
Sorry to give Archie their flowers. Like, they this is what happens to Nicole. Like, Nicole actually has I want to be more than just a computer. I think I can. And she does. But I mean, you don't get that pathos with Kintober and the computer. He's just like, oh, hello, everyone. I'm here. I'm a computer man. Put me in the ring.
All the downloading.
Yeah. Put me back in the ring, Johnny, you stupid rabbit. Anyway.
That's mostly his role. To just be a funny little man.
And it's fine. It's fine right here. It's just a shame we're
it's
talking
always
about it as a whole.
You're always reminded of it when you see it there now, and especially since we had it's ironic that Brian David Gilbert made that whole video about the Sonic Bible, which was meant to be like tongue-in-cheek, but you're like, no way, it's right, Sonic should cry over the lost possibility of the father-like figure he had in Kintober.
Yeah.
Legitimately, though.
Forget all that crap, though, because here's Sonic and Tails on their plane, and it's red and not green, and they look super cool, and I don't believe it! We found the floating island!
Enter Knuckles, Part 1.
Whole bunch of tubes and things poking out of it, but it's fine. They pretty much just land in Marble Garden Zone. Wait, that's not like in the games. That's fine. That's the one you put... I mean, it kind of makes sense. You drop them in the most ancient civilization-looking level of all the games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And of course, we do stumble across one of the most famous cherry-picked panels in all of Sonic the comic history.
Before that, though, I'm sorry, this panel of Amy and Johnny and Porker, look, I like Johnny and Porker fine. I think Porker has some great stories, but these two guys just standing there, I'm like, look at if it isn't the Blowjob Brothers. Wearing their matching jackets and they're fine.
I do like them. I do like them ribbing Amy for saying the floating island was a myth, and only an idiot would believe that.
And she gives him a real nice, shut up. I don't even know how that would sound.
Yeah, Sonic finds one of those big faces from Marble Gardeners, and Tails is like, Sonic, I don't like the look of that face. And he's like, I don't much like the look of your face. Am I complaining? And mugs at the camera right as an arrow shoots right towards him. Taking that on
I love it. Yeah, the non-existent camera, only he can see.
I love that. The one thing I love is that, the immediate next panel, the arrow lands in the wall, and Sonic's immediate assumption is Tails does not take the joke well and is now trying to kill me. And it would be deserved.
But he keeps it going. Tails is like, hey, was it me, Sonic? It's like, yeah, I sort of guessed that. Yeah, but then as Sonic's, falling to his death, and again, still being sarcastic, and then to him, he said, himself. See, here's his pathos. He said, won't I ever learn there's a time and place for sarcasm?
Why is there never a two-tailed flying fox around when you need one? And then Tails comes in and grabs him in the air, like in the game.
Yay!
Specifically, like that's what I think he started doing that in Sonic 3. So
Yep.
I know. You couldn't carry him in Sonic 2. He could fly, but you couldn't do that. This is a very cute Tails. He's missing his old man forehead wrinkles that he gets sometimes in STC. So this one looks very cute.
Yeah.
Still got something of the AOSDH face with the round nose and such, but
It does, but I think this is a good balance between the two art styles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's orange, so it's fine to me.
Yeah.
Man, just a lot of really good Sonic poses. Like, it's no wonder the comic would just clip these out and put them on stickers or posters. Just the Sonic, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna have one sore head as he's busting through the ceiling. But yeah, what a cool Sonic kick pose.
Christmas tree Sonic, Christmas tree Sonic.
I mean, that was the style at the time. They never quite got it right, but it's fine. By the way, I forgot to mention, did we mention it was Richard Olsen drawing this? Probably should have just assumed when they were doing a major Sonic adaptation in STC, Nigel Kitchen writing.
All the strips from here are written by Nigel Kitchen, drawn by Richard Elson.
The Dream Team, as they call them, as we call them.
Letters by Ellie DeVille.
Of course. And Richard's really good at drawing Sonic. Sorry, the Christmas tree Sonic on the next page is particularly bad, though, unfortunately. He does look very flat when he's doing the spin attack. Can't unsee that. That's a shame. It really is just a lack of reference material, I think, but he does what he can. Sonic tries attacking...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing that, it does look off, but I mean, that's like hindsight where, like, every Sonic artist that works on the comic has like detailed 3D models, and we know some like create models themselves, whereas like, yeah, these guys had like one model sheet from Sega of Europe where Sonic looked like this, or like the special stage from Sonic 2 where that is what he looks like from behind, that little
or they're just drawing from
four frames of sprite. Yeah, exactly.
It's not like they had little Sonic toys to play around with. We didn't have enough of those over here, so certainly not good ones at the time. Sonic dives right into a Bubbles. Is that a Bubbles or a Point? I always get some of these bad things. That's a Point Dexter. Okay, he tries doing a home attack into a Bubbles, and it's just like Sonic 3, Sonic 4. No. Basically, he tries attacking a Point Dexter. Then I feel this happened in the Archie adaptation as well.
It did.
He pulls up a force field just in time.
It's funnier here because he does his, whatever you call it, double spin attack, insta shield. And Tails is like, what the hell was that? He says, I'll tell you about it, but not now. and to be fair, he does in 3 issues. But it's much funnier
Writers
here.
need some time to think about it.
They do it in Archie, but Sonic's just like, what happened? I don't know.
And this one, Sonic's like, no, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's fine. Because of course he would. I do love that little Point Dexter, though. Apparently he made the spikes go all wiggly when he did that, so it's like wandering off with tentacles flying off of it. There's Robotnik. They find him. Sonic goes running towards him, and then just in time, Knuckles runs in to punch it. Sorry, doesn't that sound familiar to anyone who watched Sonic 2, the movie? Because that's more or less funny how that works out, isn't it?
I know, it's not quite the intro to Sonic 3. No Super Sonic.
It's got the spirit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's more Knuckles holds out his fist and Sonic just runs nose first.
Could be.
There he is. Pink as hell. Knuckles the Echidna.
Yeah.
Pink as a
I like this, and I know what art it was referencing, but I really like the crooked smirk Knuckles has in these issues.
Yeah, that is right out of that promo art.
Yep. I think it's a nice touch.
Sonic is immediately bludgeoned unconscious, has his hand on his belly for some reason. Tails is pointing at his flesh-coloured eyelids.
He's just pointing. He's not saying anything.
Poking him to see if he's alive. But yes, meet Knuckles, invincible guardian of the floating island and Robotnik's own personal bodyguard. There he is. Hasn't said a word yet, but immediately I was like, holy shit. Look at that guy. He's got a steel necklace.
Oh, I do love the first thing, moving on to part 2, I do love the first thing Knuckles says is, I hardly touched him, Doc. Sorry, this Knuckles is definitely like the Idris Elba voice. That's what I hear in my head.
Yes, we are on part 2, which is... all of these basically happen over periodic issues, so this is issue 34. Also from September, because every 2 weeks we get this, and here's Knuckles. He's right here. There's Robotnik. We see the back of his head. It's horrifying. I don't like when they have to draw Robotnik from other angles.
A rare view of Robotnik. Oh, before we move on, Jake, what is every 2 weeks called?
Bicentennial.
No. It's that video game that all the kids are still playing.
Oh,
Roblox.
Fortnite. It's Fortnite.
Okay.
Yeah, Robotnik is putting up an act as usual, saying he's but a humble servant of his people, and they all live in mortal fear of this vile creature.
I mean, that's Robotnik basically giving the game away to Sonic, like, right from the jump.
Yeah. Knuckles punches Sonic in the back of the spike. No, it does look really cool, actually, that punch that he's throwing there.
Oh, yeah. Nice action lines.
And Sonic is immediately like, oh, now I can see Robotnik has been lying to you, and you're probably a really nice guy. But nobody hits Sonic the Hedgehog like that and gets away with it. So they do a fight. And it's very cool.
Hard to describe. Very, very nice comic layout of, and I'd say it every time, but the fact that STC does manage to fit so much into like 5 to 7 pages, sometimes 8 if it's like a fantastic event comic. But yeah, here's a super cool fight. And, they are different comics, but maybe it's because Archie isn't like shoving in like 40,000 puns and so stretching a fight over the course of like 3 pages. But
it's not like Knuckles isn't using his feet like feet here, but he is using his fists to pound the ground there and make a big shock wave, which makes perfect sense. That looks cool. Yeah.
And Sonic does a cool thing where he spins around Knuckles so fast, he makes the air pressure around him so high that he launches him out the top of this, like, air bubble straight into the sky. He says, "Happy landing, creepo!"
But then Knuckles immediately dives down and starts digging before he ever did that in any of the games, because, to be fair, that's just what echidnas do. They burrow, so it makes sense. But it's just, of course he would dig.
I like this panel here at the bottom where it's basically like doing the Dragon Ball Z teleport fight, but underground. So like the aftermath.
Just see the rumbles and the noises and the ground just like tearing apart as 2 super-powered individuals clash under the ground.
Robotnik, I'm having trouble tracking their ki.
What are those 2 doing to each other? He says, which is like, well,
they're going at it.
They're going at it.
They are going at it.
I remember in a previous round of STC comics that we read, I mentioned that I really enjoyed how they drew action and action lines, because it expresses a lot of really good action, but it's also clear visually to be able to see and to read, and I like that it's the same here. Like, the action is still fun to watch and it's still clear and easily understandable. So just giving the praises there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I know. And before this fight even got started, Sonic called out to Tails that you know what to do, and that culminates here, where as Sonic seems to have Knuckles on the ropes after uppercutting him out of the ground. Here comes Tails with the plane. I don't think it has a name in
just the biplane,
STC
really.
Yeah. Yeah, not the winged victory or whatever Archie crap. Sorry. It comes out of me when I'm reading STC. Captures Robotnik with a retractable net out of the plane and just hauls him off like a big old fishy.
Yep.
He said, "Knuckles, rescue me."
By the way, before that actually happens, I do want to say I really love the panel of Sonic and Knuckles just like face to face, covered in bruises and dirt, just like ready to give up. No way, buddy boy. Suits me. Me too. And you're like, oh yeah, these two are going beat for beat, and like, oh, this immediately communicates. Oh yeah, Knuckles is as good as Sonic then. Because he's like able to keep up with him like verbally as well. So that was cool. But unfortunately, Sonic is just too fast because he's like, oh well, if I just catch you, and Sonic's like, no, fast though. So he just speeds up a little ramp.
Sonic hopping on the plane in the distance, and the Robotnik with just his arms and limbs sticking out of the net.
They just drew a balloon in the net.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That'd be pretty scary. But he's Robotnik. He deserves it. Put the fear of the Lord into his heart.
So they just get the fuck out of there because you don't have to deal with Knuckles right now. But yeah, like Sonic, the last panel where Robotnik is swinging in the wind underneath the plane, Tails is like, Sonic, do you think you could have beaten Knuckles? And Sonic's like, no problem, little buddy, I was just getting warmed up. But then you have a little thought bubble saying, I wish I meant that. Knuckles is really tough. I don't think I've seen the last of that character. There's your STC, Sonic. Like, it's like, no problem, I've got this taken care of.
Cool equals performative toxic masculinity thing we've got.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. And I mean, I think, and not to spoil where the story goes, but this should have also been another clue for Knuckles, because Sonic and Tails actually do not care about the emeralds on the floating island. They just wanted Robotnik.
Yeah.
He's a war criminal, and he's now a prisoner of war.
Well, that's because Knuckles is a big dummy who can never work anything out and will never get the better of anyone in this trip. Well, we'll see.
I guess maybe to his credit, he's lived alone forever, and so he sees two people come onto the island and kidnap the one person that's been like friendly to him. Just like, these got to be bad guys.
I mean, I feel like that was Knuckles' original like personality, is that he's not, book stupid. He's just been alone his whole life, so he's naive. So, and I mean, he was like, even in this, when Robotnik crashed down, he's like, oh, that might be a threat. I better go check it out. But then he meets the person and he's like, oh, no, help. I'm not here for anything except, and he's like, well, what reason would he have to not believe him?
Yeah.
And I'm definitely in good shape too. Probably the best shape.
So that brings us to the third main STC story.
Porker's back.
In Power of the Chaos Emeralds Part 1 from
Issue 35, cover date 30th September 1994.
Thank you, Luke.
I appreciate that, Luke, because I accidentally closed the outline. That's fine. We start off with the inside the underground base of the Freedom Fighters, which is where they are for most of this story. So far, they have been in the underground base. Sure hope nothing bad happens to it. And sorry, but Porker does. They say, "Go on, Porker, it's your turn." It literally says, "Oh, dear," like Piglet from flipping Winnie the Pooh.
I think this is why I like Porker. It's like, why is he being polite to Dr. Robotnik of all people? But he is like, oh, good morning, Doctor. I hope you slept well.
I did, Porker Lewis. I had a dream about what I was going to do to you when I escape. Do to me?
Oh, my.
Wonderful image, though, of Robotnik, like, poking through those bars. Looking
he's so mad.
So much more intimidating than anyone who's holding him right now. Yeah. By the way, the cover for this actual issue is very much Robotnik poking his head through the bars as well. Like, immediately show, hey, look, Robotnik got taken away, and it's terrifying for everyone who's holding him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And part of us kind of wishes we didn't.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, again, poor Porker. Everybody knew this is what was going to happen. He's trying to get Robotnik to cooperate, and all Robotnik does is go.
But yes, Robotnik is behind bars, but not for long. Sorry, just basically they're sending Porker Lewis down to interrogate Dr. Robotnik, Tyrant of Mobius, and he's like, "Would you tell me something about your new generation of Babadniks, please?" As it happens, there is a badnik which might interest you. It's just the right size to contain a pig. It's like... But
when the rumble sound effects from Sonic 3 start.
And the floor starts cracking, and a bottle of Chianti
I see that.
rattles on the floor, which is like, I guess it's like a Silence of the Lambs reference, because... You know, the much more intimidating prisoner is being interrogated by the terrified other person. So I guess that's what they were going for, Silence of the Piglets.
I thought it was more of a like, hey, look, you're a prisoner of war, but we follow the Geneva Convention. We're going to feed you.
Get plastered while you're here. I feel like it, knowing Nigel Kitching probably probably maybe it was just Richard Olsen like being like he put some fava beans down there as well.
This Robotnik, I don't know why I just thought of that. I guess it's more of like the food critic from Ratatouille. He's like, I don't get plastered, I imbibe.
It's funny that we're talking about this today because while I was driving around earlier, I had NPR on and they had an interview with Anthony Hopkins, and the interviewer said,
"Oh wow!
So how do you play? Like, how does one play such a vile character like in Silence of the Lambs?" And Anthony Hopkins is like, "Well, you don't. You play an upstanding man. You never play the obvious thing."
Exactly. Anthony Hopkins, I also love his story about, and I totally get what he means. I don't think he's being insulting at all when he reads a script and says, "Oh, this is an NAR script, a no acting required." Just because he does so much. I'm like, hey, yeah, man, you know what they want, they know what they want, and yeah, you don't have to try that hard.
You just have to be Anthony Hopkins because that's what they paid you for.
Yep.
So.
Exactly.
But this is where Knuckles makes his grand re-entrance, tunneling into Robotnik's cell. And by the time Sonic gets down here, Porker once again not beating the allegations, Fangu feeling continually, more and more correct with every issue.
I don't know what he's supposed to do. Like, Robotnik's out to grab him, Knuckles is here, I'd be terrified.
Knuckles saying he's here to save the Doctor from the evil Sonic. Not that evil Sonic.
You mean Fleetway?
No. I mean, alternate universe evil Sonic.
Oh, shit, right.
I know.
The artist formerly known as Scourge.
Statutory rapist evil Sonic.
No! It's true, though. No, they just had a nap, Jeremy. It's fine.
I know. Poor... Sorry, this is another thing I like about STC Robotnik is he is a physically imposing force. Like, he's got Porker under his big beefy arm. Like, he ain't getting out of that. There's no like, oh, this fat guy has got me. It's like, no, he's can feel his bristling biceps.
Yeah, he's basically being like pressed up against the bars. Like, that shit's gonna hurt.
So Sonic, seeing his friend getting kidnapped, immediately insults him because
yeah, I can't leave you alone for 5 minutes.
Sonic, what's going on? Oh, it's just Porker Lewis, professional hostage, doing his usual thorough job.
But then, like, Porker give Porker credit. He's like, "Don't worry about me, Sonic. Just don't let Robotnik take the emeralds." And Sonic's like, "Don't try to be a hero, Porker. It doesn't suit you." And Sonic immediately goes to get the emeralds. I'm not, like, he's basically saying, "I'm not having anything happen to my friend."
If Sonic wasn't quipping, he would burst into tears because one of his dearest friends has been... Okay, maybe not that far. Johnny, make yourself useful, you slug, and get the Chaos Emeralds. Not a direct quote.
Here they are, the 6 Chaos Emeralds, by the way, because we'll get into why it's 6, not just because of Sonic 1, but...
Yeah, we've brought up the Grey Emerald in various contexts previously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here they are in a refrigerated box because they would become too unstable unless they're not stored.
Never mind that. Just give them to me, you blithering idiot.
So I've got a question for the more STC knowledgeable people here. Is refrigerating them actually a thing, or do you think the artist just wanted to draw like a box opening with fog?
I think that previously they showed that they were stored in the frozen zone for a while because they were like, that's the only place that there won't be like dangerous. Yeah,
Okay.
So that's probably why they're in a refrigerator box. But I do think they wanted to do it in the coolest looking way possible.
Yeah.
So that's why there's that ice, like, the vapors coming out.
A concept that goes back to the Bibles for the Chaos Emeralds, and that would eventually be used by, the Japanese side. Like, that's a big plot point in several episodes of Sonic X, is you can't just bring emeralds together or they will explode.
That's what I was thinking of when I saw this, because I've been rewatching old Sonic X again. And yeah, like, originally they're like, do not bring those emeralds close together, it will cause mass destruction.
Yeah.
Don't put it on a ring and give it to your wife for your anniversary, you twat.
I do kind of find it interesting that they're like, oh, the reason that Knuckles found Robotnik was simplicity itself for one of my genius. Knuckles has a small implant in his skull, which is tuned to the frequency of this homing device. What? This, like,
Bit much,
That never
actually.
comes up again.
yeah, I get, having Robotnik fool Knuckles. I don't think Knuckles is trusting enough that he would allow, like, subdermal implantation.
Yeah, I feel that's a bit much.
Like, I would have just given him a dragon radar.
Yeah. The homing device being in one of Robotnik's teeth is a very Robotnik thing. But the implant, like, no, you just have this panel right before, have Knuckles holding like a little doodad, and he's like, I gave him a tracking radar.
They sure as hell don't go back to it, by the way, other than having an actual thing in his skull.
Yeah. Unless he, like you said, went, hey, Knuckles, look at that, huh? And, like, just injected something into his...
Yeah, maybe he's got, like, a little, like, gun that just sort of, like, and it just inserts. But that image of him taking a little bit out of his tooth is kind of horrible.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until just now, yeah.
I think Robotnik does something like that in Archie as well. And now I like it because I appreciate, especially the version of Robotnik that had like one roboticized arm. I like it when they play up a classic Robotnik in these like American and British comics, who almost has like an underlying resentment of his organicness because he sees the superiority of technology.
Yes, the Beast Machine's Robotnik.
Yeah, like even in Archie, when they introduced quote unquote Eggman, I kind of liked that he is now not an organic being, and he has no problem with that because, Robo Robotnik, he's like, oh, because I am now the superior being, all hail the new flesh, basically.
It's also really cool that they've got a slot specifically for the refrigerated box of Chaos Emerald. I know it's probably for food, but it just fits perfectly,
though.
Yeah. Just in case I need to hand it to a prisoner for whatever reason.
I almost wish there was a word balloon from like Porker who said, oh, that's handy. It fits perfectly through. But here's our Sonic, they've blocked up the tunnel they escaped through. Sonic zips off. I'm not beaten yet.
So they hop on the biplane. Robotnik's in some cool sort of egg rocket. Fun little
it
thing.
looks like the one of the modular, like you said earlier, Luke, the fire machine from Angel Island.
Yeah, a little bit. Fire breath. And Robotnik's like, I can't believe it. I finally got my hands on the Chaos Emeralds. And Knuckles is like, but I'm keeping them, right? Oh, yes, of course, yes. Just as keen as you for them to be returned to their rightful home on a floating island.
Oh, Knuckles.
But they're using the biplane is using the rocket from the end of Sonic 2 and beginning of Sonic 3 to catch up. And Sonic spin attacks into the rocket crashes into the floating island, and they look like they might be dead, but no, there's Knuckles, and he crashes out of there, and he looks cool as hell.
Gohan jumping out of the Saiyan pod.
Of the pod, yeah. This is it, Hedgehog. You've got in my way for the last time. Now, what colour would you say Knuckles here? It's more of a dark pink here, maybe verging on purple.
I don't know what you would call that. I need to break out my 96 count of Crayola.
Yeah, something like that. I'm glad they finally settled on a colour for Knuckles. So next page, we cut to Power of the Chaos Emeralds Part 2. Oh, he's red now.
Yeah, and Robotnik's no longer pogging in the background.
Yeah. It's more or less a redraw of that last image, but yeah, Knuckles, he still looks cool. just red, just really red now, undeniably red at this point.
I like it when they give his dreadlocks weight, like they are flapping around his head, like big heavy hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Sonic finally explains his shield here.
Yeah, see, he was going to tell us eventually. He was always planning on it. Nifty new force field. He just vibrates the air molecules in front of him at sonic speed, like that's some superhero bullshit. But it yeah, sure. At least they explained it.
Why not? That's what it does.
But then Knuckles has the ultimate scheme. That's right. He's got a switch that he can press with his foot. But it's just something from the game. So yeah,
it's from the games.
He's got 2 big hands.
Catch these hands.
Yeah. That's a new one, but I mean, I guess not. You know, they eventually, although it's a chaotic strip, they bring up the egg golem from the island. So yeah, it's the same thing. It's magic.
I feel like I forgot to mention that the little profile that they put in the Sonic Summer Special does describe that Knuckles has got like all these like cool, like, but more than all of his abilities that he has, he knows all the mysteries of the floating island, the secret passageways, the hidden traps. On his own territory, Knuckles the Echidna is virtually unbeatable. So they're leaning into that here, and of course in the games we know that he knows where everything is, so that's what makes him a true threat, other than the fact that he's cool and red and can punch hard and dig and stuff.
He's like the Rambo of the floating island.
A little bit.
Sonic, look out, those giant hands. Hey, thanks, Tails, I'd never have noticed them.
And then as Robotnik and Knuckles escape, Sonic is really like, oh, I can't take much more. And he says, just kidding.
I love that Tails is like desperately trying to save him too. Sonic is no good. I'm just not strong enough, Sonic. So I said, hey, just kidding, little buddy. It's fine.
I know. And Tails it. Porker is right. You do have a weird sense of humor.
That's
See,
a fun little reference
that.
to the casino night one, where him and Porker were tied on the tracks of that roller coaster. We're about to get run over, and Sonic's like, "Sorry, I don't have a plan." And Porker's like, "Oh no, I can't believe this. We're gonna die." And Sonic's like, "Hey, calm down. I'm just kidding. Of course I've got a plan."
I love it. And of course, Sonic explains, I was in control the whole time. I wanted to see where they were running off to. And then, this is a fucked up Sonic Christmas tree. Look at that.
Yeah, it is a bit. They haven't quite got it yet. Spikes all over the shop.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
But then we get to something really cool.
Yes.
We get to something called the Temple of Chaos, which is basically Nigel's interpretation for what would be, I guess, the Sonic and Knuckles hidden palace, because Sonic and Knuckles wasn't out yet. We didn't know shit. So here it is. Cool idea. It's hard to describe this rundown temple of sorts with like pillars.
It honestly
worn down.
Does kind of look like the shrine on Angel Island with the big
the altar of emerald.
I almost like, if you interpret the beam of light as a big laser, it's almost like this could be Sky Sanctuary ahead of its time.
A little bit. And it's funny how prescient this is. Like, there was so much stuff we didn't know about. Like, we didn't even know the Master Emerald existed at this point. So there's all the Chaos Emeralds suspended in light.
Knuckles mentioning, it's like, if only the Gray Emerald were not still missing. Without it, I can't control the 12 emeralds power. Like, here we go. The island does have its own unique set of 6 emeralds. Yeah. But of course, what happens when they come into contact with each other? They reintegrate.
Well, Robotnik has made a replacement Grey Emerald, and I suppose it would make sense that he would have prepared that, because searching for the Grey Emerald is something he's been doing since before Sonic 1, I suppose, even as Kintabor, according to the Sonic Bible. So yeah, he would try to make a sort of replacement grey one, and they combine into 6, thus you no longer need to worry about that anymore. By the way, these are those flat-looking emeralds I forgot to mention. This is what we thought the emeralds looked like at the time, because we just saw them from the top in the games. It's fine.
Right, allegedly.
I will say to the kids, they look like the Soul Emeralds, so if that's what you need to know, that's what they look like here.
I like to think once, Sonic Team, the almighty Japanese side who knew all of this from the very beginning. Just kidding.
Of course.
That the soul emeralds look like that as a nod to like, yeah, that's what they used to look like. I mean, I do love that excuse. The like, oh no, the emeralds always look like this. You just always saw them from the top. That's so funny. That's so funny.
Jigglypuff seen from above.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this really did form my understanding of the emeralds. Is just like, yeah, of course. Okay, so they've got their own because that's what suspends the floating island, right? They'll have to do some hasty rewrites later, but it's fine. And then
what comic company didn't?
Yep.
But I love the fact that they take the gray emerald thing like sticks around until the master emerald shows up. But I mean, it's literally the exact same concept. I kind of like how STC stumbled into that, or the Bibles kind of stumbled into that.
Yeah.
That would be a concept the other side of the pond would also use.
Robotnik absorbs the chaos energy into himself and becomes the supreme high Robotnik.
I made that same joke in my notes.
That is, I mean, to be fair, that had happened in AOSDH at this point. Like that was like nearly a whole year before all this. So, of course, I don't know how much of the cartoon Nigel was checking out for inspiration. Wouldn't surprise me. He's like, oh, they're doing a Chaos Emeralds adaptation? Well, I should probably watch that. Oh, it's shit. But the idea of supreme superpowered Robotnik would be used here and much later in a much grander scale. So it's cool. I like the idea of, Robotnik absorbing emerald power and becoming all powerful. And apparently so did the writers of the Sonic 2 movie. So it works. He just gets big.
It's just common sense.
But yeah, Sonic realizes, I think my plan may have gone a little wrong because he's literally come back to see Robotnik absorb the powers of God. And he immediately turns Tails into glass and nearly shatters him.
Might be 7 years bad luck.
I love Sonic sort of being like, oh shit, Tails could die. I mean, that could be bad for me. Because
he's quipping through the pain.
Yeah. But then this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Because Knuckles says, hey, Robotnik, I too am a hologram. No, wait. Before you destroy us all, there's something I want you to see. And it's the grey emerald that he said it was lost. And Knuckles lied. Sorry about that. So Knuckles here tricked the guy who tricked him.
He wasn't a dummy. He had this in his back pocket the whole time.
He did a fib.
And then he fazzacks him
into non-existence. Or at least that's what Sonic thinks. Sonic's like, Knuckles, did I destroy him?
Did you just fucking kill that guy?
No, just send him down to Mobius after taking his powers away. I can't do that yet. And Sonic tells us, when did you realize that Robotnik had been lying about wanting to help you with his forehead wrinkles? And Knuckles was like, I didn't. But I knew that if he thought he had the power of the emeralds, the truth would come out. So I guess part of him was just like, he is a bit sus, just in case.
Yes. Yeah. Just in case.
But he doesn't want to fight the war against Robotnik because he's got his own duties.
The war's no concern of mine.
He talks about the prophecy of his people that will return from the stars one day.
Yes,
to see him
Knuckles is Babylonian.
I didn't notice Sonic and Tails are leaving, walking out, and Knuckles still has his hands to the sky like he was explaining this all to him and they just left in the middle of a monologue.
Let me explain my grand lineage. Anyway, let's go eat some meat.
Well, it's not the end. It's the end of that story, but we've still got more to go. But yeah, that's kind of cool, isn't it? I was like, oh shit, Knuckles isn't a dummy. When I'm a kid, I'm like, that's what helped me realize that actually Knuckles is pretty crafty.
Yeah,
so
he's a cool guy.
Maybe he is the coolest guy ever.
Who doesn't afraid of anything?
Yes. It was nice. It was an unexpected twist. It's a Nigel move to.
Yep.
Haha, I tricked you, but I tricked you. Haha. I'm fine with that.
I really love it. Like I said, in context, in time, when Archie was like, "Oh no, Chaos Emeralds just fall out of your asshole." I think it's very cool that STC was like, "Oh no, yeah, 2 sets, but then fixed it. Yeah, no, the Chaos Emeralds are still special and neat."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very novel idea.
You can even infer, like, it's not stated in the story, but you can infer that, like, oh, and now they're more powerful than ever now that they've been recombined.
Well, they do actually do that in the strip itself.
Eventually.
Yeah, when they get to Sonic and Knuckles adaptation, that's when they become the cool emeralds. But right now, we're hopping straight to the next story. That is Robotnik's Revenge Part 1 from issue 37, cover date 28th of October 1994. And this is... shit is hitting the fan immediately because, oh yeah, Robotnik was in our base and he knows where it is now.
Yeah,
move.
like that's really good fallout of, if you have your, captive inside your secret base, he's not going to immediately forget where he was being kept.
Yeah, especially when he's got like a homing device in his tooth, apparently, so he probably has coordinates and stuff.
Poor Porker. He's being the tech guy. He's like, I'm trying to copy Kintober back to the Mobian ring he came from.
From Sonic's World, STC 26. That's how we know that, his memories were caught on there.
The only help Kintober can offer is just to yell at Porker. Keep trying. I don't know why he sounds like the professor from Decap Attack. It just looks like him.
On the surveillance camera, Robotnik's found their base, and there he is in the squeeze tag machine, as it will be called later in this. So that's where it's. This isn't where I got. This is where I heard it first from, but apparently that's from the Sonic 3 US guidebook. So in the West, Big Arm is called the squeeze tag machine. All right.
No, thank you. So you can still blame the Americans for that one.
Probably.
No, it's Robotnik in the fucking big arms with some Sonic 3 mini bosses and the most evil caterkiller ever produced.
Yeah.
And also what is that, a grounder?
That's
Grounder.
like a grounder.
Sorry, you're right. It's a grounder.
Just a lone grounder.
He was like, and hey guys. I remember him from the cartoon. No, he's different. It is the straight up the Aquatic Room one, just blue?
Cobalt?
Yeah. Richard Olsen draws some scary fucking caterpillars. What is with these guys?
Yeah.
Actually, I suppose maybe are they more Crawltons from Mystic Cave, but coloured like caterpillars?
Oh, could be. I've fully admitted I'm really bad with Sonic Badniks. I could tell you every Mario enemy ever to exist, but I don't know the proper names of most Badniks.
Probably a crawl. It doesn't matter. It's scary, surprisingly. And also, seeing Richard Olsen draw the coolest boss of Sonic 3 is nice. I love that scary thing. But then we cut to Knuckles on the launch base zone, up to a weirdly short Robotnik Trooper. Which is
Aren't you a little short
like...
for a Robotnik Trooper?
Knuckles proving he's still cool by fucking killing this guy.
It's fine, he's a robot, as we've established. You can kill robots all you like, and it's morally correct.
Yep, Samurai Jack rules.
Yep. We see the Death Egg. So the Death Egg is in the background, and it looks like it does in the launch base zone of Sonic 3. You don't see the moustache or the nose, but you do see the two, let's be honest, the Death Star eyes right there.
Like it's tilted down. I guess the bottom needs to be poking out of Lava Reef Act 2 to where you're fighting that boss, and it's just kind of like, hey, how you doing? Here I am. That thing.
Don't forget about me.
You know how to face all this time, right?
I'm still here.
Meanwhile, Robotnik is tearing through the base. Sonic's being a sarcastic little dick. What else is new?
Johnny tries to do something and fails. The Johnny Lightfoot story.
He succeeded that one time immediately before dying, so it's fine.
It's only funny because we know how Johnny's story ends.
Yeah.
He never scored. He never does anything cool and then dies.
But at least he tries.
He does.
I mean, he does well for what is essentially a Mobini from the Sonic 1 game. He's done the best he can. It's more than anyone ever expected of him. He got a cool jacket and a staff, and that's it.
And a growth spurt.
Yeah. He's taller than Sonic now, but it doesn't matter because he got grabbed by Robotnik with his giant red hand.
His red right hand.
Yeah, it's this boss is just too powerful for Sonic. In fact, it whacked Sonic. It thwacked Sonic, and Johnny's like, Sonic, you can't beat Robotnik in that thing. He's too strong for you. Lightfoot, I'm going to pretend I never heard you say that.
Even though he's correct.
It's true. Oh, man. But they managed to cave in the top of the base to basically trap Robotnik for a little while Porker finally gets the ring down, the Kinta ball down onto the ring. In the meantime, Robotnik checks in with Grimer. What's happened with Knuckles? Oh, he tried attacking us, but he's fucking dead now. It's rather messy, as a matter of fact. But it was all a ruse. He just wanted to, I guess, mislead Robotnik for 5 minutes, so you wouldn't think that Knuckles was coming. I don't know. He basically just, forces Grimer to send that message while he's tied him up.
I like how Grimer on this transmission has beautiful Bishonen lavender eyes.
Doesn't it?
This Grimer looks... I mean, aside from the, his goblin ears and his hair, he's drawn quite attractive as opposed to his usual appearance where he's got the butthole lips.
I do like the choice of dialogue for the last scene, just because, Grimer's saying, was that all right? And I like Knuckles because, I don't know, it feels like strong benevolence of him saying, yes, Grimer, that was all right.
Yeah, like before this, like Knuckles was like, I'm going to punch you to death if you don't
like,
if you don't lie to Robotnik.
He's like, count how many spiked knuckles I have. How many holes would that make in you?
Ouch.
Well, he's showing us them right at the camera. He's just like pointing them up at them to show how serious he is. There's his big boxing gloves.
Flipping the quadruple deuce.
He's ready to knock.
Yeah, we're into Robotnik's Revenge Part 2. And I gotta say, this panel here of Sonic kicking at Robotnik bursting through the wall, that is like the panel that I would have loved to see turned into an STC poster.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
With the big arms crashing through the wall, he's still got Johnny Porker's...
No, he grabbed Johnny again. Johnny was
Oh,
fine.
no, Johnny, you
he just
giant
immediately
tool.
aims for Johnny. Or it's Johnny in the back. Actually, no, maybe Johnny's just behind that. I think he's not being grabbed this time.
Oh, okay. It does
Yeah, the
look like he's
positioning
grabbed
does.
him again,
because
though.
his pant leg, like you can see his knee above it. So unless Robotnik
Yeah,
has him in
it's
a
the
really weird grip.
perspective.
It just looks so natural, grabbed by a Robotnik.
Yeah.
It's just his natural position to be grabbed by a giant hand.
John be like, I wasn't even prepared for that one.
I don't think I need to look at the sprite again. I don't think I ever interpreted a face on the, the drill badniks from...
No, they
that show
don't
up
have
in-
them. That's just not...
Okay, I love
I think
this,
that's just
though.
Richard Badnikizing them a little bit. So
Yeah, we'll put some rareware angry eyes on the badniks. That works. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's a pinup page, and it's not even a pinup. It's just this one big panel. I love
Speaking
it.
of pinup, I like that when Sonic hits big arms again, it says thong. Oh, sorry, I mean tong.
yeah, he tongs off it. He tongs off the squeeze tag machine for his spin attack
The
proof.
squeeze tag machine is spin attack proof. Very specifically, just the spin attack, though.
Now, if you turned it to some sort
Remember
of
that for later.
now, if you turned it to some sort of buzzsaw, that would really grind my gears.
Literally. But yeah, Knuckles just cracks down. Crack, I should. Crack. That is a hard one to read. It's a sound effect happens and he crashes
crack,
through
a
the
crack.
wall.
Oh no, crack. Yeah, it is hard. Wow, yeah.
Crack.
It's a Mozart.
It's a crack.
Anyway, Knuckles is here.
Yeah, it's time to be cool again, where he just punches right through this
Shining
shield.
like the sun.
And Sonic literally pulling the, I softened him up for you.
Yeah.
Inhaling that copium back there.
Straight up snorting it.
Sonic uses a spin attack. He tears the head off the thing, or the roof, the dome. And so Robotnik has to immediately get out of there. Oh, no, sorry, he doesn't get out of there. He sort of like flies out of there, looking very silly. And then he sends the panic after them.
Kill, maim, destroy.
Knuckles is just like, I'll get us out of here. And Sonic's still like, what's the matter? Scared of a fight? And Sonic's Knuckles, yeah, there it is. Knuckles is just like, what is it with you, Sonic? Just think the odds are against us.
Yeah. So like I really enjoyed this page, and I remember talking about it in the Discord chat, just like I think it was yesterday or the day before, but like, you know, like in the top of the page in the panel, he's saying, I don't need you to tell me how to fight, okay? And then like in the middle, he says, what's the matter, Knuckles? Scared of a fight? And then Knuckles finally says, what is with you? And like I know that STC Sonic isn't always a jerk. I know that he's a character who's able to be, you know, more than one emotion, and he expresses that. But like with these specific dialogue choices, I was just like, geez, he's being a dick. and
the other characters in the story are acknowledging it.
Like that is the main thing. That is the main thing for me, is that if they're going to have Sonic be, you know, have that attitude, I want characters to either call him on it more or dish as well as they take.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's actually really funny that here you literally have Knuckles,
I love it,
who's just been introduced in the past few weeks. And like, yeah, he kind of puts Sonic in his place.
Yeah.
It's honestly really cathartic.
That's why Knuckles is the cool guy, because he comes in and is like, okay, what is with this bloke?
Yeah.
Is this what you've been dealing with all this time?
I don't know where she is. Amy's not here. I almost feel like you might benefit from like Amy just popping in and saying like, well, that's Sonic. You'll get used to it.
But yeah, as they're fighting against the Badniks, they are, you know, sniping at each other the whole time. Like, it's like Vegeta and Goku, except for if they're two Vegetas.
I did, yes, exactly.
Also, really good behind Sonic Christmas tree look here. I think they got it right on this one.
Yeah,
that one's fine.
That's much better.
I think those might literally be copied like line for line from the model sheets. Both of those, Knuckles from behind and Sonic.
Yeah, as they're like destroying Badniks, it's just a dick swinging contest. The reinforcements show up with Robotnik's face on the truck, which is a photorealistic Robotnik's face. And then there's just this splash page of Sonic and Knuckles, coolest motherfuckers in the world. Yeah. Robotnik flying away in his Sonic 3 Egg-O-Matic.
Johnny doing his best, swinging his stick, and Porker right in the middle there. He's
there too.
I got the ring, guys. I got it.
I'll keep it safe.
Sonic, you're looking tired, buddy. Go and have a lay down. I'll take care of the things here. Knuckles like, hey, I was just going easy so I wouldn't make you look bad.
And then Johnny's like, looks like Rush. Shut the fuck up, Johnny.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
This is another one that would make for a great pinup.
Yeah. But yeah, Sonic really totally like, and this does feel, if from what I've seen of Sonic, this is true to Sonic, is like when he's like, hey Knuckles, I thought you said you had no interest in fighting Robotnik, because he takes this whole fight seriously, and now Knuckles is coming down, he's like, so now you're coming down to help, are you?
Yeah,
But yeah, Knuckles felt like a personal responsibility because he was the one who basically found the base, and Sonic's like, hey buddy, since when did this hedgehog need anybody's help? Never, that's when. And Johnny's like, Sonic, for goodness sake, don't start that.
For Christ's sake, Sonic, lighten up.
Just, you're making me think like Johnny Lightfoot sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, no. No, that's just my terrible accent. Sorry. I do love Knuckles steals one of the Egg-O-Matics. Yep. That's great.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Hey, just like the game.
I mean, Sonic technically was the one who stole it in the game, but hey, it's fine. It looks... You know, you would to get if you want to get back to a floating island.
Oh yeah, that's where Amy and Tails were. They were getting the Bob Beakey's traveling circus wagon.
I guess they had that on standby just in case this exact situation happened. They're like, well, got to have a backup plan, and it's a traveling circus cover act.
Yeah, because don't they? I mean, they spend the next big chunk of issues. They don't get another secret base for quite a while.
Yeah. I appreciate that, you know, they've got the traveling circus wagon and also the biplane covered up under a tarp behind it.
Yep. It's not like Sonic has his name painted on the side or anything, right?
And then just look at their costumes. Amy is like a fortune teller. Johnny I suppose Johnny's supposed to be a
always with the
strong man.
fortune telling for Amy. God.
Oh man, Ian Flynn, all the way back in Sonic the Comic.
I'm guessing Johnny's supposed to be like an old-fashioned strong man because he's got the big moustache. You don't see much of it, but that's my... Oh, no, you can see the leopard print sort of like... the
unitard, the what do you call it, a singlet.
Tails' carrot top.
And then
Tails is a clown, fittingly.
Who's he mugging at? I guess the
trooper is just like, hey, I'm a clown.
Oh, just a clown.
Either you'll enjoy me or be afraid of me.
There's Sonic in his Bob Beaky disguise from a much earlier issue.
Yep.
This is one of those disguises where Sonic would have to take it off and wink at the audience to know it's Sonic, because it doesn't look like him at all.
Yeah.
He's just wearing like a little fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they literally
sunglasses
have
and a
to, have Amy clarify that that's him in the disguise, because otherwise you can't tell.
And they trail off into the distance, into new adventures, with the status quo changed forever because of Sonic 3 happened to us. They lose the underground base, and now they're a traveling circus.
One more jab at Johnny.
A ridiculous
moustache.
Well, I think it makes me look distinguished. Oh, what?
I don't remember, a classic cliffhanger. I don't remember the next issue, but next issue, Sonic no more.
Yeah, shit. Sorry, it's a bad... After all of this, there's a bad comic coming up. It's the one where Sonic loses his powers.
Don't worry about it.
He loses his powers, and he's not blue anymore, and Robotnik gets blue.
Yeah.
It's an AOSTHR story, but done worse than that.
It's pretty stupid.
But this is also where we start getting, some backup stories of Knuckles as well, because I know that it's during this period that we get Knuckles in the Carnival Night Zone with some returning characters.
Yeah. Doesn't that end with Knuckles severing the Carnival Night Zone from the island? It fucking rocks.
So yeah, Knuckles is here, and the comic has changed forever because he gets his own strip almost immediately. And Knuckles is here. That was the thing, the big takeaway from this. This is a loose adaptation of Sonic 3, but it does not treat the game lightly. Like, yeah, it might be only taking a few elements from it, but you have to realize Sonic 3 happened, and Knuckles, at the end of that game, Knuckles is still working for Robotnik.
Yeah.
They were ahead of the... SDC was like, no, we can't keep doing that. Eventually, Knuckles would get it. Robotnik would lie to him about the emeralds.
I mean, I have to assume that, they knew just by virtue of the fact that, the last issue of this came out in November of 94, when Sonic and Knuckles would have been coming out. So by that point, they know, okay, well, Knuckles is going to be a playable character. Yeah. He is going to be a good guy. We should probably start pivoting him to be a good guy.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely. It's either way, I think it's cool because it's like, oh, wow, everything just worked out coincidentally, or they actually cared about where this Sonic the Hedgehog licensed comic was going to go. And so, like you said, properly inferred that, oh no, Knuckles is going to stick around and be a cool dude. So let's incorporate that into the future of our comic book as well.
And to be fair, Archie did the same thing. I think everyone could into it. Yeah, it's not going to last. This one, it's like when a couple of friends get married, and you're like, well, that one's not going to last.
And I mean, not to always use it as a but I mean, this kicks the crap out of the Archie adaptation, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's just fine, I think. That one's just a perfectly fine sort of well, we've got to do this now, so here's that guy.
Yeah. We got to get Knuckles here somehow.
STC was like, nope, this is our new guy.
Yeah,
so
I feel like you said, the Archie version's fine, but I feel like this one gives Knuckles an extra level of weight that he doesn't in that Archie comic, which is ironic considering where that series will go eventually. But
I know, yeah. I hated to say, yep, unlike Ken Penders, who said, oh, there's my guy.
Yeah, he said it for a different reason. But that's the Sonic 3 adaptation in STC that we just wanted to cover because it's good.
And it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, it's a great introduction to Knuckles as a character, and I knowing how much even higher it hits when we get to the Sonic and Knuckles stuff. It's easy to see why people consider this the golden age of STC.
Yeah. And Knuckles' strip is not going to be a temporary thing. That's a main feature of Sonic going forward. Not all the time, but Knuckles being in the background is just, he's a part of the furniture now, and he's very important, and he does cool stuff, and Nigel Kitching loves writing for him, so that's cool.
And I'm glad we had an opportunity to not only, revisit this, but also to expose Jake to it for the first time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, the set of stories and set of issues, and it just makes me, in a way, I enjoy I enjoy the fact that I don't read STC until these episodes come up, because I can come with these with just such a fresh perspective. And the thing that I get every single time is I come to appreciate the art style more and more every single time. And like I said it like at the beginning, like I always love how they draw Robotnik, because he always looks so vile and so towering and menacing, and just the clear action and even just the choices for colors. I really enjoy the art style of Sonic the Comic. And the story is very good too. I like that a lot.
I hope you enjoy the sort of like the 7-page format that we're used to, because that's just how we had every 2 weeks. We were waiting for our 7 pages of Sonic. Like eventually we would get more Sonic than that, but yeah, like they pack so much into those ones, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I can't wait for us to do Sonic and Knuckles, which I'm sure will probably happen sooner than we think.
Yes. Yeah. Now we've got the setup.
I mean, Knuckles is cool.
I agree.
That's what I thought as a kid, and I still feel that now. But that's Sonic 3 and STC. Thanks for listening to us talk about something that other people have probably talked about as well, but we've approached it from knowing more about STC because I read it as a kid, and also we listened to other people have better opinions about it in another podcast. But that's fine. This is our one, and Jake got to check it out for the first time, and I'm glad for that.
Yeah. That's the exclusivity for our podcast.
Yeah, we've got a Jake.
Jake exclusive.
Joe.
Oh.
I like that.
Jake exclusive.
Shit, I've got to make a jingle for that.
We need to bring that next time we cover STC that Jake has read for the first time. We'll get the Jake exclusive.
I'm going to have to make like a custom jingle for that.
Yes, do it. The Jake exclusive. If you enjoyed that, you can find us all across the internet, all the socials. Well, not all of them. The good ones. Well, the better ones. Well, the ones. The ones that
we're definitely on LiveJournal.
The moderately tolerable ones out there.
Despite it all, we are still on Tumblr. I think that's the only place you can watch the 19th episode of Sonic F. Sorry, I haven't updated it in like a year and a half, but it's there.
Yeah. But you can find us at Sonic F and Sonic F Series, depending on the site. All across the internet, you can find me at Faulerro. That's Faulerro.
Love that jingle. You can find me across the socials as RockTheJake, and you can find me on Twitch as Mr. RockTheJake.
You can find me in all sorts of places at CyberLink420.
And you can find me on Blue Sky at jeremybaker.actor and around the rest of the internet as GameBuddy.
And special thanks, as always, to Amy Waters for the use of our theme song from the album Gotta Go Slow. You can check out more of her work on YouTube and Bandcamp, and if it's a Bandcamp Friday, she gets more money, so be sure to give her the money.
Please do.
That's how it works, yes. And remember all that stuff that we like to say. We don't actually, but it's just like, sometimes it's like, hey guys, it's cool when you tell people about our podcast. Sorry, that sounds really like backhanded. Like just, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you guys actually said that you liked our podcast? No, it's fine. If you like it, then just subscribe, review, share. Actually, you know what? Do review it, because I think just recently, Luke, you said that if we get enough reviews on Apple, a certain person might actually be on our podcast.
Yeah,
so maybe that'll be cool.
It's a long shot, but Jesse Thorne from Jordan Jesse Go says he'll be on any podcast that has 100 iTunes reviews. So I'll make that happen.
Please,
yeah,
y'all,
so
please do that.
On Apple,
allow us to expose somebody of like much more fame than ourselves to the forbidden lore.
Yeah, it's always fun when we do that sort of thing, and this will be a great chance to do that. So just for that purpose, just for that one single purpose. But it would be nice if you like this stuff to let everyone know that you do. That's it. That's about it. It's just we're getting up to 100 episodes. Oh shit, we're getting up to 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should have something really big planned for that.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we do. Well, we'll get to that. But as for next time on episode 99 of the podcast, because we're getting that far into it, well, we're going to be doing things a little differently. We're going to be shaking up the format, because we're going to be talking about Knuckles the Kid. Oh wait, no, that's actually So Luke was right. We are doing it sooner than you thought. We have finally decided to bust open that broke the glass and be like, okay, it's time to finally talk about who is Knuckles the Echidna. Well, we've certainly got a head start on that, but this time we're going to deep dive into this character who has a rich and very difficult to summarize history.
That's the word I would use for it.
Definitely looking forward to that because, even aside from, yes, his tumultuous comic book history, I mean, even quote unquote canon game Knuckles has a lot to talk about because he had his ups and downs and
all around.
We're hopefully getting some guests who are Knuckles super fans on to talk about that.
Chris is already here, though.
Well, I'm the super fan, but we might have some people who like Knuckles in a different way, so that's going to be fun. Look forward to that. Well, hey now. But anyway, we'll get into the history of Knuckles, including the wide, massive history that was provided by one man, unfortunately. But until then, when we finally knuckle down and get to Knuckles for real, I have been Faulerro.
I'm RockTheJake.
I'm CyberLink.
I'm GameBuddy. And wow, dude, you take all the fun out of trash talking. Would have fit right in here in these issues.
Yep.
Yeah. This has been The Hill Is Always Greener, and we will see you on the other side.
Huzzah!
Whee!
Oh no.